Yo, it's your boy Clue World, and I want to welcome you to Level to This podcast, season 1, episode 7. And let me tell y'all, it's been amazing to be able to get back on here with y'all. I don't know where you are, where you're listening to this, where you're viewing this from, but I appreciate you for just checking in with your boy. I know you could be doing anything else in the world, but the fact that you're here with me means so much. I greatly appreciate you, and I hope that any of these episodes have benefited you in some way, shape, or form, because today we got a special guest that I am so appreciative to in so many ways. Like, honestly, like the dialogue and the conversation I'm about to get today is about to be so amazing. And let me tell y'all about this man. He is literally the most angelic man I've ever met in my life. But when I tell you this man is unstoppable, he can do literally anything. I've learned so much from him, and he's my brother. Like, when I tell y'all it's somebody that God drops in your life and you're just like, where did he come from? I swear on everything. When I first met this guy, it was just like, why? Why are you here? And God answered my prayers and further let me understand why he's here. So I want to bring to y'all my brother, my friend, Mr. Moshe Davenport. What's going on, bro?
What's up, brother? You good?
Hey, I'm great, bro. I'm great when I get to see you, dog. It's been too long.
It has been. It has been.
It
Glad to see
has
you
been.
doing well.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be seen. You feel me? Because if people only knew, and they will find
Yeah.
out
Woo. Yeah.
that part. But
Yes.
yeah, man, I'm grateful for you to be here, man. I'm so excited to finally get a chance to chat with you, hear certain things, because one thing that I'm even understanding about this podcast, which is super great to me, is I'm learning things about people that I've known that I didn't know, because all of our stories are different. Like, there's certain elements and certain questions that we've never had to ask each other because we're living from the day we meet. No, it's very rare where
Yeah.
people really sit down and ask questions and be like, well, but now we get to ask the questions. And
Yes. Let's do it. I'm excited.
but what I will start with, man, is let these people know who you are, what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them what you would say is Moshe. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Moshe, but they don't know Moshe. Let them know who you are, bro.
First off, I'm a engineer, tour manager, production manager. Super humble, and don't really like talking about what I do, what I've done, who I've worked for. It's like pulling teeth getting me to do that. The
Yeah.
whole mixed by Mo thing was a whole battle with just like 3 or 4 core people in my life right now, and it was like it's just what you got to do. And
Yeah.
as I've gone down the street of this, I'm seeing. I also not only do I tour, but I also am now a production coordinator at a venue in Houston. So I do that as well, and then I also am co-CEO in a management company slash record label. So I wear a
Yeah.
lot of hats, and it's only God's grace that allows any of it to happen,
Yeah.
and is allowing all of it to happen.
Absolutely.
Literally just came off the road this weekend in Hawaii doing Kehlani slash US tour. Literally came home and yesterday had to do one of my artists, Tisa Korean and Mighty Bay, did a perform opening for Steve Levy, I think his name is Levy, whatever
Lazy.
his name. I'm not
Yeah.
Lacey. There
Steve
you go.
Lacy. Yep.
I'm not
Yep.
a guy, you know. So out of my age, uh, gray. Oh, this gray. It's out of my area of expertise of musical taste.
Right.
But they went open, so I had to jump into manager slash tour manager, get that done. So um, that's me in a nutshell. Just humble, just put my head down and work, grind it out, and
Absolutely.
that's just me in a nutshell.
It is you. because what's funny is I got to tell them the story on how we met. Okay, because it was hilarious,
Yeah,
and
you have
it's what's funny about it is
to.
it's going to correspond with another interview that I had in regards to how I view people when I first see them and how I'm just kind of like, I don't know you nigga. But so
Yeah,
basically, let me tell you how this happened. So I was working with an artist and here it is. We're in rehearsals. We're about to start a tour run and all that type of stuff. And the artists and management are still not really understanding how important front of house monitors are, especially when you're going on your tour or you're going to do any type of tour. And we'll break that down, just people understanding like really the aesthetic of what's necessary in the needs and prioritizing your team because
yeah,
um some people's view of it is different. You know what I'm saying? Some people's like, oh, we got to have a band first. And then, but it's like, nah, sometimes you don't. You can start with less is more. But back to the story. The
mm,
story is um, we were then working with somebody, two people that we thought we was going to have. One of them didn't happen. And we end up showing up to a city. Me and my homies, me and the rest of the band, we go up to our hotel room. We go into the room. It's a Negro in the room, lights on, just sitting at a computer. And we just like, we both looked at each other like, I think we're in the wrong room. We thought we was in the wrong room.
I
Just
definitely
to
thought I
find
was in
out.
the
You was like, first of all, who gave a key to my security?
yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
so funny about it, man, is like looking back at that moment more and more each day, it's just like, God, you just be dropping people in random ways, in ways that we don't understand, and how it may impact our future. And here it is. I want to say that was what, how many years ago was that?
20 or
So
2016. 2016,
2016,
2017.
2017. Yeah, like 5, 6 years
Yeah.
ago. And now I know exactly why he put you in my life. Like you've been my soundboard, you've been my accountability partner in a lot of things. Um, you've been my logic in passive aggressiveness and how to balance the aggressiveness with the passive aggressive because let me tell y'all something about this man Moshe. He'll make you want to fight people over him. He bigger than me, but he will make you fight people over him. I mean, straight up duke it out. And
Literally.
he's in your bro. To give you your flowers, you're such a pure heart that um, it's impossible to be around you and want to not protect you. And it's to me, it's like literally the favor of God. It's really what we all should be giving off to people is like we should want to protect each other just based upon how we love one another, how we treat one another, how we give perspective and understanding that you ain't gotta always act a fool to get the reactions we want. It's okay to be classy. It's okay to have class to what you do and still
Totally.
well we live it well the other part is I feel like we live in a day and age, unless if you're not so angry and frustrated and so aggressive, then it means you don't care about what you do. You've shown me that being soft hearted and leading with not necessarily your heart, but leading with the heart posture as to what you do is just as much as being crazy and chaotic, like a lot of the people that we see today who is like, oh, that's passion. Passion ain't always on the edge
Yeah.
of knives and guns necessarily. Sometimes it's
I was taught a long time ago um, that your patience makes a situation calm down when in the midst of controversy and turmoil. If you're
hmm,
calm, eventually it'll make everybody else calm, and you witnessed that
yeah, you
with
set the
me.
standard.
Like
Yeah, you set the
people
standard.
are going nuts all around me, But long as I keep calm and just stay my course,
Hmm.
eventually it's gonna be like, okay, I'm not rattling this person. Why? My
Absolutely.
yelling and screaming is more so raising my blood pressure than it is the person's blood pressure I'm yelling at.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be intimidated, and I think that's just not to be. I mean, we talking candid. That's just
Hmm.
God's presence in me, giving me the confidence. Like, hey, you good? Don't react, because that's what they want you to do.
Yeah.
And the second that you go to their level, they win.
You always say that.
The
You.
second you go to their level, they win. They win whether it goes to fighting or not. They won because they pushed you somewhere that you shouldn't have gone, and
Yep.
you know how to
You.
keep yourself from going to.
You've preached that for
It's
as long
hard.
as I've known you. Every time I
Yeah.
would get mad, I would, or if I would get mad at something that you were going through, you would literally still preach that. And I definitely know and have to agree with the fact that the reason why God trusts you with so many things is because he knows that you're unmovable, you're unshakable, and you are the standard of what we all should be who say we love Christ. And he is the author and finisher of our faith. So, man, keep doing what you're doing in regards to that
And I
because
credit I credit my I credit my father, which my father is an amazing individual.
he is. Yes, he is.
That he is the number one teacher to me of that. When you know that you are right,
Hmm.
and it may not be the right that they want to be right, and that's the problem. But you still have to stand your ground, but be calm about it.
Yeah,
That was he
absolutely.
was the that was the main thing that he's always taught me, which is obviously why him and my mom, God rest her soul, were married for 43 years.
Yeah.
Because in the midst of turmoil, you got to be okay. Eventually, this moment's gonna come down, and everyone will then be back level headed, and then we
Hmm.
can get stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that it's you are the embodiment to me of the meekness that God talks about in the Bible and how important it is to understand how more powerful that is than it is to get angry or meet somebody where they are and it's just rah rah this
Yeah,
and rah rah that. And I honor you for that, man, because trust me, like you have helped me besides other things, but you to see somebody um that I can look up to in that manner and be like, wow, like this person really helps me understand better that I don't always have to be I don't have to go in so aggressive on everything. And it's not that I even do, but sometimes when you're looking at the situation when you first walk in, it's like, do I walk in with my shoulders up and my chest out, or do I just walk in regular and just let people know it's okay to act normal? Because the other thing is sometimes walking into rooms like that, people are like, can I even talk to this person? Is this person even approachable? Is this person even somebody I can even converse with, or do I need to stay out their way? And you've helped me with that. And like I said, man, this is the reason why I love levels to this, because it's not just about what we do, how we do it, and how we got to the opportunity that God has given us, but it's the psyche and how we operate in those spaces. Because we know people in your position with your title and mine who you just be like, what's wrong with you? What's
yeah,
wrong with you? Like, you ain't got to come in like that.
yeah. It's definitely it's definitely in the way you put it is definitely if you walk in. I always remember when we were on tour. At first, I used to laugh about it. First week or so, I laughed about it, like, what is wrong with this dude? But then I thought about it, and I think you kind of broke it down to me, and then I like really processed it.
Mm.
But you used to say at the end of the night, "Hey guys, I want to thank all you guys for coming and working today because you didn't have to come, and we appreciate you being here." And they would always look like,
Yeah.
"Thank you." Like some, you would have some that would just totally be,
Struck. Yeah.
"Oh, what's wrong? I don't understand." But when you explained it to me, like, "Hey, we are all here grateful to be here because none of us have to be here. So why
Absolutely.
can't we appreciate them?" You know, and realistically, if they took that approach, appreciating us coming in, which, we got that sometimes, it was like,
Yeah.
no, thank you guys for coming in and being the guys that you were. Because
Yeah.
there it is the thing, you walk to a venue, the first thing you expect is some guys to be all, well, I'm bigger than you, or I'm better, I've done this and I've done, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be
A
a
power struggle.
resume.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a resume building and I've done this, this, and this. Well, I've done this, this, and this. It doesn't have to be that. A measuring
Never.
contest of who's done more and who's done less is
Yep.
not necessary. And I think I learned that where I actually first learned that was working
Mm.
at the venue before I started really touring
Mm-hmm.
because a person of color you don't find in these higher up positions. You done been to a million venues.
Talk about it.
We've been to a million venues together. How many
Yes.
of us do we see?
Very a very small
So
amount,
when
if any.
right, that's what I'm saying. You probably could count on one hand, honestly. And
Correct.
and and that's a whole nother rabbit trail of just sadness that I see, and it's really sad. But I learned it because what happens is I'm working at this venue. You got the country artists coming in. So they've talked to me on the phone, and we got the ability to make it sound professional. We sound professional on the phone. Great. They walk in and they're like, "This, oh, you're Moshe? Oh, hey, how you doing? Like, thank you for coming today. We're super excited to have you here today. Let's get started." So then they can't do anything but oh my god. I had one instance in that, and I'll tell this, and then we can move on. It was one instance. It was a country show, and it was an older country act. We had a great day. It was load out, and I had come on the stage to make sure everybody was getting everything they needed, and I moved the case just a little bit so I could walk onto the stage. This white guy was like, "Don't touch my shit, you," and he almost said it. He almost said it. The whole room paused. His crew, the crew, my crew, because at that point it was about to go way left. And the spirit of what you said, I have the ability where I could see my team like Moshe not gonna have to hit this dude because I'm gonna hit him for him. But it was one of their team that grabbed the dude and was like, "Bro, he's been nothing but nice to us all day. Take your ass to the bus and don't come back."
Wow, that's crazy.
And
But that's great.
apologized. And I was like, so that it proves your point of my meekness and everyone wanting to, but my team didn't have to say anything. And the whole rest of the night, all of them just like, "We're so sorry." The tour manager came, apologized, like, "I'm so sorry. I heard about what happened. That is not a reflection of us." It's like, bro, it's all good. I know everybody gets heated when it's low out and everybody's trying to rush. I get it. It's fine. But it's one of those things where you're like, that's where I learned it. If I'm like this all the time and you pop off, why do I need to pop off? It's your issue, not mine.
Right, right.
So
Absolutely. And that's a great space in my head where those who understand and know he fights for us. We don't even have to fight the battles. Just honestly, just being you and carrying out what he asks you to do. He ain't gonna let nothing touch you. He'll literally have people who who don't even know they're being used by him be like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
come here real quick. Let me talk to you. But man, that's what I appreciate about it all, because also in our walk together, I feel like between our experiences, we both gained a better acknowledgement of how good God is, how powerful he is,
So,
how much he
man,
watches over us. Like we just be like, I don't
bro.
know, it was a few times where we probably looked at each other and was just like, God got jokes. He got some serious jokes.
Yeah, with us. He's about to jump out and be like, "Gotcha." I know. I'm yeah, telling you. I mean, and just being in full transparency, which I don't even know if you know this, but I think you do. I think we've had this conversation. But when I met you, that was one of the darkest moments in my life. So I was coming out. I was dealing with being at that point separated from my now ex-wife and my daughter, who I love and is my world. So and being at odds with my family, because as we all church boys. Can't nobody deny that. Anybody you ask where you started the church, okay, so let's get that out the way. We all started in the church. So my father is an ordained minister. He ministers, and he's also has a counseling business where what he does is help married couples.
Right, right.
So me getting a divorce is not ideal for a man who's supposed to help people with their marriages. So I came
Absolutely.
to that artist literally running from that. I just want to get away from all of that. Not knowing that
Yeah,
I'm running to where we're building a brotherhood that ends up helping me and then walking side by side with me through that whole process.
absolutely.
Because that
Absolutely.
whole first tour, I was literally going through a divorce and signing paperwork on tour on the bus. I had to sign my final paperwork. I don't even know if you knew that,
No, definitely didn't. I
but I
think you
never
told me
said. But
about it a little
I
after.
had
I think
mentioned it.
it was years that you mentioned it,
At
but you didn't tell me all this. No,
yeah, it wasn't at this. We weren't where we are now,
we
where
were
you
still
would
getting
have
to know
definitely
each other.
probably been.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you probably would have been sitting there like praying with me, like, okay, bro, just because
I
I
would have
literally
been.
was sitting in the back of the bus, tears as I'm signing papers. Just being honest,
Yeah.
that was a
No,
dark
absolutely.
moment, super dark
Wow.
moment. But
Yeah.
it took me through that, just
Hmm.
being there with you and everybody. You know what I'm saying? It just was an escape, but you know what I'm saying. It wasn't necessarily. It turned into something great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because
But
it
crazy time.
was it was a crazy time, because also the other part on top of that, which is crazy how you handled it, because it never showed, because we were on a tour where we were just like, what the
Every day something was changing. Yeah,
every day, what's
yeah,
going on up there? Help me. But
yeah.
not to know he was helping us both in so many ways, man, because I remember I shoot, on that tour, I was literally trying to stop y'all from leaving, because it got to a point where y'all was like, we don't need this. This ain't what we
Yeah.
signed up for.
This
And
can't
I
be what
felt
we were
so
supposed.
bad and embarrassed. I felt embarrassed. Man,
Yeah,
man. But Okay, let's knock out some of these questions, man. Because like I said,
Yeah,
this this platform is not just for interviews; it's for conversation, for people to understand the levels in which
yeah,
how people think and how people operate. Because your thinking is what got you as far as you are today, which is further than some people who have been in it for years. That and even when you go back to the people that we encounter at these venues and why I always said thank you and appreciating them and giving them their flowers because we don't know how long they've been in that position and haven't felt any growth, haven't felt any appreciation, want to be in our shoes, envy us, and don't know how to be in that moment, be happy for where they are, push to where they're going, and still appreciate the people that are coming in and not be upset of like, oh my gosh, here's this other band here. And then on top of that, we deal with not knowing the unfortunate persona that was left there by somebody who just came in there and didn't understand to appreciate these people because they didn't have to wake up
so
today. They didn't have to come in here and at least make sure the doors were open. And just because they're paid, they
hold on, I lost your sound. Can you hear me? I don't hear you no more. No.
hold on. Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yeah, I hear you.
All right, yeah.
Yep.
I forgot I gotta put my other phone on airplane mode because if I don't, people just be able to get through. All right. But anyways, thank God for edits. But
Amen.
yeah, bro, like that to me is most important is not knowing what people have went through to get to this day. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if this person is battling through losing their family, being separated from
Man,
their wife and kids, losing their home, uh, being underpaid
totally,
and underappreciated at their job. So it's like we gotta appreciate each other and let people know. Most of all, what God I feel wants everybody to know is I see you, no matter what. And even though
totally.
you're not gaining the actions in which you may pray for or desire, I still see you. And so if you just continue living, I'll show you how much I see you. But
Totally.
you can't live and be a zombie and be living a dead life because
Totally.
it's
Yeah.
it's not all
It
and
ain't
that's what I'm also understanding is in life it's not all on God. We have to play our part. And
yeah, do your
the
part.
highest percentage of that, the highest percentage is waking up. The highest percentage is not just waking up, but getting up. Because
Yeah.
because anybody can just about get up and wake up, but what are you doing with that? Are you laying in that bed? You know what I'm saying? But to move
Mm-hmm.
on, bro, I would like to know how long have you been doing what it is you're doing? Like how long have you been doing? Because we have you when I first met you, you were doing just monitors in front of house. Now you've moved on to management. You've moved on to tour managing, production managing. How long have you been doing these things?
I've been doing sound, um, man, for 15, 20 years. Again, started in the church. I actually started as a camera guy, as a grip in the church while following behind, holding the
Wow.
cable, making sure that the camera guy didn't trip on the cable. Then I started working camera, and
Right.
then I realized the audio part of it. One day when I was there at the
Hmm.
church and they were editing and they were trying to fix the sound, and I was like, so this is almost as important. And the guy was like, yeah, you want to learn? And I was like, sure. So I started learning how
Yeah.
the the sound worked, working sound. Did that. The church grew, went into a bigger building, and I was like the second in
Uh-huh.
command audio engineer. Um, I went to school for it, and then in school, like I was like my audio classes always shined in because that's I was doing that at church. Even the camera stuff, like a lot of stuff they were teaching me, I was already doing. So just kept
Mm.
progressing. So the very first professional gig that I ever had was for Brian McKnight. He came to my church for a Christmas concert, the
Wow.
church that I was working at, for a Christmas concert, and um, I was doing monitors there in front of the house from the same console. But he walked in, he started singing, playing the piano, and I had like the sound, had some effects going, and he leaned over and said something to his manager. Then his manager comes back to me, so I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna tell me what he guess he's not comfortable. He don't want to just say in the mic, hey, turn this up, turn this down, whatever." The manager comes and he's like, "Hey, do
Right.
you
Right.
travel?"
Professional.
Like I was like, "I mean, I can, yeah." He was like, "Mr. McKnight, we want to talk to you after the sound check." He's very impressed, and we have some gigs coming up, and we need somebody to engineer. I'm like, so
Wow.
the first things is first of all, it's Brian McKnight, and all I really listened to was R&B. So this is like a, oh Lord Jesus, this is Brian McKnight, hallelujah. I did like two
The
months
wedding
with
singer of
Brian
wedding
McKnight.
singers.
Right. I did like 2 months of
Wow.
gigs in front of house for McKnight. It was so cool. I was like, this is amazing. And then it just progressed. Started like doing more of that. Then I left the church and started working at the venue.
Hmm.
And I first started at the venue as a monitor guy.
Okay.
My first non like Houston engineering gig, I think it was Joe. He came, I did monitors, and they were like, "We're going to Dallas. Can you come with us to Dallas?" And I was like, "Sure." So I did monitors for Joe, and then I that's how I got introduced to like the Tank and all of those artists that I've done stuff for, the Drew Hills, because they would come to the venue, and this is what I teach the people that I bring into the venue at the arena, and anybody that I can come in contact with is um, take every gig seriously. If you're working at a venue, if you're working at a church, you don't never know.
Never know.
My
Yep.
career
Yep.
really jump started because if you think about it, I could have been like a normal church guy and just turned it on for Brian, and that was it. But for
It's that
me, it
back.
meant
Yeah.
something
Hmm.
because it's Brian McKnight. I got to do good. Then when I'm at the venue, I'm like, man, this is Joe. I listen to him. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? I listen to these guys when I'm not working. So why would I not want to put my best foot forward and make it to be where they're like, who is this kid on monitors? Or who is this
Right.
kid that's mixing in front of the house? Because he's like, he's doing something that I need. And
Yep.
that's how it happened. And I just progressed. Um, and then I feel like doing the production management and everything. That's how I progressed at the venue. It was like the production manager was there. He was exactly the guy that we talked about. We didn't like dealing with when we go to venues. A complete jerk. He would be mean to everybody.
Mm.
He didn't care who you were. He felt like you were beneath him. He didn't want to be there. My thing is, if you don't want to be there, then don't be here.
Trash. Don't be here.
So
That part.
I started learning how it was like, okay, I'm in the church, I know how to do a little bit, but I can develop this. So they gave me the position as
Yeah.
production manager for the, and then I started really like, okay, I gotta learn this. Then when I realized it was a position outside of the venue, I'm like, oh, I gotta be okay. So working in the venue actually helps
I gotta
me
get up on it
from the artist standpoint. Now I know how to talk to a venue
it's
guy to get him to do what I need him to do because they talk to me like
because you
that
walked in
to
those
get me to do
shoes.
what they
Yep.
need.
Yep.
So I progressed there, and then I feel like it was natural progression. The TM thing,
Right.
if it wasn't for you, I probably would have never done it. Or I may have, or it just would have taken me longer.
Wow.
But you pushed me to be like,
A
"Yo,
little
you can
longer.
do it." And he was like, "Don't be afraid." And he was like, "If it's something you don't know, I can help you, or we can find somebody that can get you the information." Next thing I know, the other
Right.
guys that are in my life that I know they're like, "Yeah, bro, we'll help you." Next thing I know, here I am. I'm tour manager, and
Favor.
it wasn't as
Favor.
difficult as I thought it was gonna be. And that's usually how it is.
Told you.
You're
Yep.
more scared of the situation than the situation is scared of you.
Yep.
You psych yourself
Absolutely.
out all the time.
Absolutely.
You totally psych yourself out. So I was
The
like,
enemy does. The enemy does a
boom.
great job of it.
He really does. He makes you feel
Nah,
like,
absolutely,
nah,
absolutely, bro.
you should.
You
You're
can't
not
do it.
qualified to do that.
I mean,
And then especially for this
absolutely.
artist, you know what I mean? Now these ain't these little the R&B or the Chitlin circuit, however you want to call it. These ain't those little simple gigs like that. You know, this is a little different. And it's like, yeah, but it's really the same thing.
Absolutely.
Long as you know what you're doing, you good. So that was my progression.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's totally been a blessing, bro. It's totally been a blessing. It's it's
Indeed.
a blessing to go from I want to do this to I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
then
doing it.
to have to, yes, I'm doing it. I'm doing it and I'm good at doing it.
Yeah.
And then even having to take a step back from doing one thing, but then getting the praises of the person coming in, like, man, how are you doing this? Like, kudos to you because I don't know how
Yeah.
you did it. So it's just like, hey,
Absolutely, bro.
I'm
Like
blessed. And I
what's so
say, and this
crazy
is what I
is
say.
mm-hmm.
The, what I was gonna say is, it's like I laugh because I'm like, it's because I got him on my side. Because without him, I'd probably be running crazy. I would be running crazy, but because I got
Absolutely.
him,
Absolutely.
I don't have to worry about that.
No, for sure. For sure. Because what's crazy to hear you say, man, you dropped so many gems in that. Um, but the one thing that I've been able to realize is um we are the casters of the votes in which direction we go in the biggest way. Why? Because God is always going to vote for us. The enemy always votes against us. So whichever wherever you cast your vote is where it goes. So if you speak ill
Yeah,
against yourself, you're going in that direction. But God with yours and God's vote, you can't lose. You only need two,
and
you and his.
yeah,
But to lose,
yeah,
you only need yours and the enemy's. And a
yeah,
lot of us don't know and understand you can't whatever you're doing now, you couldn't do sometime before. So anything in
yeah,
front of you that you say that you see yourself incapable or unqualified to do, you weren't qualified to do what you're doing now to even give you the inclination that you have the ability to do what you can do next. Yes,
yeah.
I
So
wasn't I
that's crazy.
can't I could never talk about when I was 13 what it would be like to be a 14-year-old until I got 14. I had to live in that season, but understand eventually 14 would come. All I got to do is keep living. All I have to do is continue
You know,
to keep trusting and believing that I'm heading in the right direction. And it's a
crazy.
beautiful thing, man, cuz I love to know now. I've seen a lot of your growth that I didn't know I actually did see, to know that that's what it was. And my pushing you, man, was to be what we all should be to one another. I'm a cheer for you.
Iron
I'm a
sharpening.
push you. Iron,
Yeah.
you've all that's another one of yours. Yeah, that's another one of yours, bro. And
Yeah.
it's about and another thing that you talked about, which I greatly appreciate, and I'm gonna just jump to that, but you kind of already etched on it, relationship. And not just any relationship, but those around you, having the right people around you that push you,
Yeah.
tell you you can do it when you can't do it, and not only tell you you can do it when you can't do it, but you trust them. You say, you know what?
Yeah.
If you think I can do it, I can do it. Because if you don't have the right people around you, anytime they tell you that you can do something or can't do something, you'll never believe them regardless. But when you have people that
Yeah.
you really their words carry substance, and every time they tell you something, they're not wasting their breath. They're not saying it just because it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I guarantee there's things I could tell you, hey Moshe, I think I can do that. And you would probably look up at me and be like, yeah, bro, you probably can, but but you can't. That I wouldn't tell you to do that. I
Yeah.
don't think you would tell me to go ahead and be a NASCAR driver and try nothing stupid.
Yeah. No,
You know what I'm saying? It's not to say I couldn't do
no.
it,
Yeah.
but you would be like, bro, just think about it a little bit. And I trust
Yeah.
that. I appreciate that, man. But have you ever wanted to give up? That's what I want to know.
Oh man, many times, many times, and it
Wow.
wasn't. It was times where you're just like, okay, Lord, this is too much, and I don't
Hmm.
feel this. Maybe I need to wait. Maybe I'm trying to do this too
Right.
quickly. So maybe I need to back up.
Yeah.
But those were also the times, honestly, where you were right there in my ear, like, nah, bro, you're not fin bro, you got this. And you wouldn't even know it was at a breaking
Yeah.
point. And sometimes you could tell because you could see,
Mm.
as the longer we were around each other, the more you could tell where, nah, bro,
We could
mm-mm.
read each other. Yep.
Hey,
Hmm.
hey, hey, nah, bro, don't even do it. Don't do it.
Let's talk over here.
Come holler at me.
No, absolutely,
Or
man.
or after when we weren't together on the
Yeah.
road, picking up the phone and being like, "Hey, bro, what's wrong, Shay? No, something ain't right." I'd be like, "Well, bro, I don't know. I just feel like, nah, that's not what we about to do." Between you
Yeah.
and Marcus, my business partner Marcus, the y'all two like,
Hmm.
whoo, bunches of times. Like the story I told you about how I came on that tour. Marcus was like, "Go, you
Hmm.
need that.
Mm.
You've earned it. You
Good
deserve
people.
it, and it's
Yep.
for you.
Right.
Go do it.
Right.
Go
Go
and
do it.
don't
Yeah.
just go. It's gonna be fine." And sometimes that's all you need. And you're right. Is when I say it's about the relationships, bro. There's key people that I can pick up my phone and they're gonna answer or call me back quickly
Hmm.
that I can talk to, and it just all comes back around.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely,
You know what
man.
I'm
And
saying?
and
Or they're gonna have something. They're gonna be able to say something instantly that makes you be
yeah,
like,
God
okay,
is
just
God.
breathe.
Yeah, I hear you,
He
God.
has
Yeah.
because sometimes you be like, oh Lord, this I
Send me
don't.
a sign.
This doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, as recently as this last tour,
Mm-hmm.
we definitely had conversations and
Right.
like, no, Mo, you earned this. Go do it.
Yep.
Marcus, same thing. And I look back on it and I'm grateful because it allowed me to create this brand that I probably should have created a long time ago, Clue. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I know you're probably looking at me like, duh,
Yes,
you
I
should
am.
have.
Duh. Yes.
But I was so just like, I don't,
You
it's
were
not about
serving other
me.
people so much. Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard to see
And,
ourselves when we're serving so much. Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
and I think this tour allowed me to step out of so much serving others and self serve,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a bad
Yep.
thing, I have heard.
It's not a
I
bad
didn't
thing.
want to do it because I thought it was a bad thing to self serve.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's because that's
Absolutely.
what we
Absolutely.
as men, especially black men, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we just grind. Man, I'm out here grinding. I'm out here grinding. But it's something you used to always say, bro. You used to say, we'd be like, man, we out here grinding. But you would be like, we're grinding out here for our legacy, which is our daughters.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
He's like, you're grinding out here for Avery. You're not just grinding like some people say, man, I'm out here grinding. But
For selfish
it's no
gain. Yeah.
purpose behind the grind. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I got to do things to make sure, not that she's going to have the easiest life, but that her life, she has purpose and she knows that I can do whatever I want because my dad did X,
Absolutely.
Y, and Z as he was growing up and raising me to allow me to be able to do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's all,
Yep.
man. That's
With no
all we used to
excuses.
do is talk
No
about Charlie
excuses.
and Avery. This is what we doing it for
Yep.
Moshe, Avery, Avery. That's who.
Yep.
I remember one time that's all you said to me. I was sitting. I don't remember where we were, and I think I was sitting in the office, and I was just sitting there like, and you came in, and you were just like, Avery, that's who, and just walked off. And I was like, dang, he's right. Because that's
Waking it
that's what
up,
it's
bro.
about, bro.
Waking it up.
Is just
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it
It's the
is
bigger
going,
picture.
it's hard. It's hard for us sometimes as men because we want to be so hard and
Mm-hmm.
that don't I'm not gonna be defeated and but man sometimes it's hard to stay in that every single day, every
Absolutely.
single hour of the day. And I wish more.
Yeah.
I think that's what I love about our relationship is that we can be 100% transparent
Mm-hmm.
with each other. Bro, I'm not feeling it today. I I don't know.
Correct.
Today is just not a good day. It's not a
Yep.
good day.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Just
So
being able to carry one another. That was
yeah,
big, man. And I
yeah,
appreciated it. I appreciated it because a servant to a servant to a servant, you know what I'm saying, is like
yeah,
we find we find peace in seeing other people get better based upon us pouring into them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
to even piggyback off of what you were saying in regards to having that ability to push and push through, man, and do certain things is understanding that ego, ego has a very kind of like up and down look to it, you know what I'm saying? But ego is hard to carry. Ego
yeah,
literally is like, it's almost like traveling around with gold, but at the same token it's still heavy, it's still weighted. It looks good for people to see you with it because it's like they don't know that it's ego. They just see you, stoic. They see you out there working and stuff like that. But when you have to be by yourself and still holding that, you're just like, my arms are tired, but if I put this down, I may not pick it up again because I know how heavy it was. So that's why I feel like people carry
Yeah.
ego the way that they do, because it's easier to hold it than it is to put down and have to pick it up again. But when you have those
Yeah.
elements with you that are not as heavy as ego, but as fruitful as ego, to push you in regards to, it's almost like how they're trying to get us to stop driving gas cars and drive these electric cars, and how it's lighter
Yeah.
to drive an electric car based upon
Yeah.
gasoline. That's what it kind of like is
Totally.
yeah, it's good, but it's like it's heavy. And we have inspirations that push us that are not heavy, because when we look at them, we're just like, God, yes, I want this person to have such success based upon my ability to love them through tough times, through busy seasons, and never drop the ball. Never, and it's not even never
Yeah.
drop the ball, but show them that if the ball drops, you don't stop. It doesn't mean you leave it where it is. You pick it up and you keep going. Because
Yeah.
honestly, it's things are gonna happen, but you don't have to let it be the end all be all. You don't have we're not quitters. So we can't let y'all be quitters. I literally
No.
said to a loved one of mine recently, like, I don't want you to give up, because I'm not going to give up. I'm not trying to hold you accountable for the way that I'm going to live my life, but I pray that me not giving up will be inspirational to you to not give up on me the same way I won't give
Give
up
up
on
and
you.
keep. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I mean, we definitely, honestly, our coming together was a light in a situation. I feel like you needed a partner light to keep that situation progressing, because
Yes, I
you
did.
wouldn't have been
Yes, I
able to.
did.
Your prayers weren't gonna be strong enough. Not that you're not a strong prayer warrior. You just needed
Hmm.
some extra to help take that where it needed to go. Because I mean,
Let me tell you,
bro,
let me tell you where you just took it. Let me tell you where you just took it. So let me tell y'all this, because I felt like I brought this story up before. There's an artist that we were working with, and I implemented, because I have to do it. I pray before we go on stage every show, and
yeah,
me and Moshe would pray before every show. Now, we also were on tour with this artist at one point in time, where this artist was standing in front of us, walking back and forth in the bus during the discussion that we had, and told us that they did not believe in God. They believed there was a higher power, but they didn't believe in God. And we didn't argue with them, we didn't debate with them. We just said, "Hey, you're welcome to believe whatever you want to believe." And me and him
yeah,
intentfully continued to pray every show before we performed. And there was one show where we were praying. It was just me and Moshe. And it wasn't me, but I remember praying. And after the prayer was over, I remember looking up and noticing the artist had his arm wrapped around Moshe while we were praying. And me and
yeah,
Moshe had a discussion about it after. But before that even could happen, the artist said, "Hey, whenever you guys pray, let me know, because I want to pray with y'all." This is the same person who didn't want to have nothing to
yeah,
do with it. And it was crazy to me. But
man,
to move along in that, to understand where their life is based upon prayer, and now the relationship they do have with Christ is beyond me. But it's understanding, like you said, yes, I was my prayers couldn't have did it by themselves. And then God brought you in,
no,
where I had a prayer partner. And two, where
yeah,
where the word says, where two or three gathered
very
together.
true.
and it
We
happened.
made that.
And it turned from 2 to almost 8 to 16 people.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
only me, not
Yeah.
only me praying every time, they started to pray. There was a time where I literally started having new people
Yeah.
pray every time. And you remember, we would be in the circles and they'll be like, I don't know how to pray. I was like, just talk to God in however you talk regularly. And they just got more
Yeah.
comfortable with it. And it was so crazy to
Yeah.
know when God graciously parted us away from that situation, there was a scenario where
Yeah.
some people who were still working with them called me and was like, yo, artist came over and was like, something feels off, and literally told somebody like, yo, we need to pray. That was their decision to do. And had it not been for me praying for
The
God to
seed,
bring somebody here,
the
yeah,
seed being
he just layered
planted.
it up. He layered it up, bro. It's not our plans.
Man,
It's
I
his
said
plans.
the
We
other
just,
day. I said the other day. I think it was me and Marcus talking. I was like, bro, I don't understand how people can still walk around this earth, get in a car, go to bed, and wake up in the morning, go back to bed, wake up the next day, and don't believe God is real. I don't understand it.
me
I don't
either.
understand it.
It's hard. It's hard to understand. It's hard to
Bro, I
understand.
don't understand. Like, if people
Hmm.
only knew just the situations that we know together,
That part.
we literally saved somebody's life.
Yep. Used as vessels. We seen
It's
death.
like,
We
it
were
was there.
Moshe,
We
we were literally
witnessed,
surrounded by death.
surrounded by it.
Caskets and all. Caskets and all, Moshe.
Can't tell me he not real. Cannot.
Man, but he's he but there was a man named Jesus. A brother named Jesus
Sweet baby.
that that
Man. I'm
that
just,
bared something that I know today. I don't know if we could. I don't know if we could, because
man,
we too
it's still,
emotional. You know what I'm
it's still,
saying?
yeah. As we sitting here right now, it's like, man, we literally saved somebody's life.
Bro, I remember I remember being on when we was in Europe. I was with Said, and I remember I don't know if I remember telling you the conversation, but I said, I was like, Said, why are you here? He was like, man, I'm here. Bro, I'm just here to make a check. I was like, bro, I'm here to save this man's life and to
And you
know
said that
that
every day.
God
You used to say that every day. Like,
every
if I'm
day,
not here, I don't know what to be. And the only
bro,
reason that you were able to transition from it is because he finally picked it up.
he did. Yep.
So
And
your
we have relationship
assignment
today because of it.
technically was done. You did what you were supposed to do.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
That's
that's why when the shift came, I didn't feel hurt by it, because I said, first of all, God, you called my number and you allowed me to see it really happen. You allowed me
yeah,
not to see not you didn't only allow me to see it happen just to see it happen. You allowed me to see it happen to know any place I put you after this, know your position, know your job. You're not just there to be a tour
mhm,
manager. You're not just there to do production managing. You're not just there to play drums. I'm putting my children in these positions to be the hands and feet. And it hurts me to see those who say
yeah,
they know and love God
the light,
in certain predicaments and situations, and you don't see the light whatsoever. And it's saddening. And none of them want to be accountable to say, it's me,
yeah,
and have the
yeah,
audacity to be upset at God. But it's like, you know, the opportunity in which you have right now, you begged God for it and he let you have it. But there was a million other people begging for that same opportunity, just as you. It
yeah,
may have came without an audition, but there was an audition. There was a prayer audition. and
Totally.
you just ended up getting picked from that prayer audition.
Yeah, totally.
And it's been an
And you
incredible
know,
journey, man.
sometimes I do get like I had kind of talking on my story and my journey. You know, there's always been people
Hmm.
like, how did Moshe get that opportunity, or how did he get this and that? And you know,
Absolutely.
people come back to me and be like, man, this person or that person is saying. And one of my homeboys was like, man, I told a dude the other day, this was some years back. He was like, man, Moshe has blessed so many people that he's reaping the benefits.
Hmm. Yes, you are.
He's
Indeed, you
reaping the
are.
benefits. They people
Yep.
and I don't like to talk tithing and all of that because everybody has their own belief and you tithe the way you want to tithe. But
Yes, they do.
as
But
us
I'm a tither.
as us people, we sit in church and you know, it's like nowadays people don't want to tithe because they feel like, oh, I'm giving it to pastor so he can get his Porsche or his helicopter or his,
Unfortunately.
Maybach
Yep.
outside, his Maserati. Okay, but that's not what it's for. But
Yep.
there's multiple ways of tithing also. It's giving of something,
Yep.
giving up of something. And
Yep.
what I have been when I
Absolutely.
get opportunities, as you know, same thing you do. When what we do as us as brothers, when we get an opportunity and we realize we have the power of change, we will bring other gifted individuals into
Yes,
the
we will.
situation.
Yep.
My dad was the one that taught me, Moshe, that's a tithe also.
Hmm. Yep.
You're
Mm.
giving of your ability.
And resources. Yep. Wow.
You
I've
you
never even
putting
thought of it that way.
people. My dad was the one who put when you put people in places, that's a tithe.
Uh-huh.
You
Whoa.
don't. I'm reaping benefits of the 15 or 20 or 30 people who's and this is me. I'm the super humble guy, so I'm not saying this
Correct.
from a cocky or
No,
standpoint.
you're just
But
you're telling your testimony. It's all good.
the lives that I have been able to affect and
Effect. Yep.
change because of me putting them in certain perspectives to provide for their family
Right. Right.
is my tithe.
Yeah.
That's a tithe.
Absolutely.
And people don't realize you can being greedy. Oh, I got this gig, and I'm gonna hold on to it.
Yep.
I'm not gonna worry about nobody else. No, that's not what we. That's not what we're here for, man.
That's not what we're here
That's not
for.
all we
It's
here.
yeah.
He didn't give me the gift to be a sound engineer to hoard all the sound engineer gigs. No, he didn't give
That
me
was
the
one
gift of
person.
being able to be a
No.
production manager and a great tour manager and a great artist manager to hoard that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I get the opportunity that I have and I see other people, hey, come on, bro, get right here.
Yeah.
But the problem is we us we have a problem with that.
We do.
We don't oh I give
Unfortunately.
him a gig and I may not get the gig back. But what if it was meant for you not to have that gig anymore because God was opening up a door for you to get a better gig?
And
Now it may not
needed
happen
you to
at
be
the
available
same
for it.
time. It may not happen at the same
Come on.
time, but you need. I'm sorry.
Moshe,
I'm not
let
a
me
pastor.
stop you there. I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you there.
I'm
Let
not a
me tell you
pastor.
why. Because both of us being released from the situation that we were allowed us to have our hands empty for what happened after that immediately. Because if we were holding, I tell people this all the time, if I held on to it, I would have been unavailable based upon my loyalty. That's why the older I've gotten, I've been okay with, I've had to be better at being okay at letting things go. Because if you hold everything, you start to hoarder. And then on top of that,
Yeah.
you forget what you have. It begins to be neglected. It begins to gain bacteria and then deteriorate. And by the time you try to go back to it, it wants nothing to do with you, or it doesn't even exist anymore. But it's the bigger picture of being a vessel. That's what it is. We are vessels. I mean, because I tell people all the time. I just talked to my homies about this like a few Sundays ago. I was like, when I was doing auditions for this artist that I gratefully love, um, the person that I ended up picking to be a part and be the musician, because you were around when I was auditioning these people.
Yeah.
A part of the enemy was like, you sure you want him to be on this gig? Because you know he can outplay you playing drums. Plus, he could do what he can
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
you know he's going to be judging you because you can't play as good as he can. And what ended up happening, we ended up creating some of the most magical moments together. We ended up,
Yeah.
uh, I ended up becoming a better drummer based upon being able to play beside them and them criticizing and giving me understanding of where things go and where things shouldn't go and how I should hear things. And shout outs to Sid, even though he's my annoying baby sister, he really grew me up,
Hey, you
because
know
a
what?
part of my fear, and I can laugh
Y'all,
about it now and tell him, like, I was nervous having him around because it's just like, I know he's going to criticize me. I can't play like this elephant. You know what I'm saying?
but
I'm
hey,
sorry.
it
Insider.
wasn't that. Right. Right. It wasn't that you were criticized by him. It was that he had to teach you some
Right.
things you
Yeah, it
didn't
wasn't.
have, and
Yep.
in him teaching you,
Yep. Absolutely.
you were open to be taught. And that is a problem that we have,
Yep.
is we don't
Absolutely.
want to be taught. No, you
Yep.
can't tell. I don't want to hear. You can't tell me how to mix. You can't tell me how to play drums better. No,
Yep.
yes you can. Sit down and listen. You're never too old to learn, bro.
Let me just hear what you got.
You're never too old to learn.
Yep.
But when
Once
you close yourself off, you're
you start
closing
dying, if
yourself
you
off
do,
to the bliss. You
you're
can't get
dying,
nowhere like that. You can't get
bro.
nowhere like that.
Absolutely. And what's crazy is he didn't, playing wise, I learned a lot from him, but character wise, he learned a lot from me. He learned how
And
to lead. He
that's
learned,
what it's supposed to be.
yeah,
That's how it's supposed to be.
that's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be, bro.
Iron
That is
sharpens
what.
iron.
Oh, bro. I didn't want to say it all because I was like, ah. But yeah, that's what it's supposed to be,
Can I
bro.
hear the
That
people
is
say?
what, man. Say it
Nah,
again for
bro.
those in the back who can hardly hear it. The iron sharpening iron is what
Yeah,
we need as a people to accept
definitely.
and learn, because we've had people that we thought could understand it,
Hmm.
but they didn't. We wanted it
Let
more than
me
they did.
let me tell you something. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was talking to them about um the yay stuff. And I'm not going to give it too much attention, but understanding our culture are the best builders ever. We've been builders forever. The only thing is, we'll do better at building for others than building for ourselves and saying this is ours. We will build the
Yeah,
tallest building in the world and won't care to own it. Why?
yeah.
Because we don't,
When
oh,
we
we
have
don't know how
the
we're gonna
right,
keep the lights on. We don't know how we're gonna have people occupy all this type of stuff. So what we'll do is we'll say we'll build it, but you handle those bigger issues. No, we can't
yeah.
just
No
continue to
faith,
be builders.
no
No
faith,
faith. No
no
faith. Because
faith.
if more of us were okay with understanding, Yes, knowing and wearing every shoe and hat on the way up helps you understand how to do the jobs when you have to criticize or say something is wrong, and then somebody turn around and say, um, well, how do you do it right? And then you still looking like boo boo the fool yourself. Like, no, honestly, it's really understanding that yes, you can be a builder, and it's not necessarily building for just other people all the time. It's showing people, yeah, I can help build this for you, but I got my own too. And I'm building this steadfastly based upon knowing that I can conquer it and own it too. And I just wish more
Right.
of us knew that. It wouldn't be such a crabs in a barrel perspective, but everybody's so hell bent on building for other people versus building to own. A lot of people build to build again. I build to own.
Mm-hmm.
I build to be in power, and not power in a way that I don't want to be. I want to be the one that, yes, God, you allow me to be a vessel to open up the door and let everybody in. And we know this room will then get full, and you will allow me to build something else. Let me just
Hmm.
continue to build higher platform spaces and places for other people. Because I remember even during
Yeah.
COVID, when I had went through a space of depression, it was you and Tone Lopez that I was able to think about. And God had tears fall from my eyes, being able to say that I have two beneficial people in my life that aren't going to let me drown. I have two people in my life that have not necessarily just promised me that they going to make sure that I'm good, but I know I can believe, again, from the beginning of the conversation, I have people around me I can believe that when they say something, they going to do it.
Yeah.
We literally
Yeah.
worked during COVID together on one of the most amazing streams. I went in coming to be a tour manager assistant, ended up being
Yeah.
stage manager slash creative director slash partial director in
Yeah.
a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
it's crazy, bro. And it's absolutely amazing. And I would honestly want to ask you this. If you could change anything about the industry you're in for the better of it, what would it be?
I would change. That's a really good question. I have, and I think I can.
Besides
I'll
that,
answer it two ways. I'll answer it two ways. I would say I wish that us could get more non-us opportunities. I wish that the playing field could be level for when it comes to engineers, production managers, creatives, and tour management, tour directors, all of that upper level management side, and engineers. I'm, 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 I'm not gonna. I can't really speak from a musician space because I think it is some that are able. It's probably easier for some, not everybody, but I know for I can speak from an engineer and then production TM space. It's I wish there was more inclusion and less of, well, I'm gonna use you to a point, and when you get me here, I should my mind tells me I should stay with my team, but I want to get traded and I want to go play for another team now because I feel like they can get me to the championship. And the NBA is a perfect example of that right now. Guys feel like I played on this team for so long, and but I need to get to that next level, so I'm gonna have to go over here to get to that next level. Instead of staying the course and never knowing if you keep building the chemistry, you can go where you need to go. So that would be the one thing that's one of the things I would love to change. And then for just us as a people, I want us to be more open to learning and understanding and not feeling like, oh, how did he get that gig? That should never be a question. Just like, and I'll use this example. You don't ask, oh, well, something people do. How did he get that girl? It doesn't matter. But what's for him, that is for him. If he's supposed to have her, just because it works for him, just because you think it's working for him, let's be real, because
Right.
we don't know if it's
Do
working.
you think it's working?
I, I'm, hey,
That we
it
know.
looks like it's, but you don't know that, and
It
then you
looks
want
like
to
it.
be there.
You don't know what's going on behind
You're
closed
not,
doors. Yeah.
yeah, you don't know. So it's easy to say, man, I wish I had the gigs Moshe has. Yeah, but are you doing the things that Moshe does?
Are you willing to go through the things
And
that Moshe went through?
exactly. Are you willing to do those things? Or do you carry yourself in a way that will make people say, oh,
He deserves it.
he okay. I during the pandemic, I did a panel discussion with other minority tour managers. And the
Hmm.
panel was about inclusion of minorities in non-minority areas. And one of the things that we
Mm.
all agreed on is you can't expect this A-list artist to
Hmm.
even recognize you unless you carry yourself in a certain type of way. You handle business a certain type of way.
Absolutely true.
I
Yep.
feel like that is why I am blessed in what I'm doing, and that's how I've been able to be where I am, is the way that I handle my business,
Yeah.
the way I carry myself. Like you said,
Mm.
I am not the fly off at the handle. I'm not finna cuss at you. You're not finna hear no yelling and cussing and screaming from Moshe. It's just not how I operate.
Right.
And an artist
Yeah.
wants someone that can reflect them. Now you have those artists that want
Yeah.
those kind of guys because what type of artists they are.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely
that's not me,
true.
and that's why I don't work with those type of people.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to self-evaluate and say, "Oh,
Yes.
if I want to go to another level, what do I need to do
It starts with
to
me.
prepare?"
Yeah. It starts with you.
Yes.
Yep.
If you don't if you
You
don't
you struck a
put
word right
yourself
there.
if you don't put yourself, just like you can't love someone if you don't love yourself, you can't work somewhere else if you're
Come on.
not
Come
prepared
on.
to be in that. Again, I promise I'm not a preacher. I'm not a preacher.
You sure you're not a pastor?
But I just
You sure you not? You
I
sure? Cause you're you over there hupping, dog. Yes, sir.
I just
Cause
I I just know what my life has what I've done in my life
yeah.
and how I've been able to be successful. And
Mm.
I'm thankful for everything, the losses and the wins,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
failures, the and the great thing, positive things, because it's
Yep.
all made me who I am today. It's all
Absolutely.
allowed me to have created a great brand in Mixed by Mo that has people like literally hitting me now, like, "Hey, can I learn from you? Hey, what do this? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so dope.
It's opened up the door, and it's put me more of in a light of like, oh my God. And then the support of the Mix by Mo is super
Yeah,
overwhelming right now. It's
man,
like people
congratulations
actually
on that.
are ordering t-shirts and hoodies and
Ordering,
stuff for me. That is
order up,
crazy. They're ordering.
as they
Link
should,
in all my bios.
as they should.
You can go,
Leaking.
but it's just like the link in the bio. Bro, I'm gonna tell you this and then I'll stop. See whatever the next question is. 2 weeks ago, I
Uh,
was doing shows with SWV. Drew Hill was on the show.
mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen Drew Hill, like brothers. I hadn't seen him in a minute because I've been busy. They saw me
Since before COVID.
backstage. I've seen him. Oh yeah, it may have been before COVID, or maybe a
Yeah,
little
you was
like
doing a
once or
lot of
twice after.
you was doing once or twice because you started Drew after. I mean, you were doing
Yeah,
Drew during that, but like really with Drew. But go ahead, finish. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I saw Teo first, and he was like hug. Then I saw Smoke and Black. Then I saw Nokia. Nokia walks out the room, and I had my Mix by Mo shirt on. He was like, "Bro, I need a shirt, bro. I need to rep for my brother." Dang near had tears in my
Wow.
eyes. Cisco, same thing. Like they're asking for merch, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Wow.
Because I'm
That's
like,
amazing.
bro, you just don't understand. Kehlani came after we did the Oakland show. She's walking down the hall with Sierra, and she's like, "There he go, the GOAT, mixed by Mo," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Too humble.
Told Sierra, "This why it sound good." Sierra's like, "Yeah, you had it. She sounded amazing. You had her sounding great. You're really good at what you do." This
Wow.
is her and Sierra having a conversation with me
Yes,
in the
you are.
hallway of Oracle. I'm standing there in just shock because I'm like, this is really like surreal. You know what I mean? It's
My God, I'm really
totally
seeing this.
surreal.
I'm seeing this.
Like, and I'm
Absolutely.
like, thank you, Lord. Tears in my eyes, like, wow.
Yeah. It was all worth it.
Okay.
God, I
Yes.
didn't see this. I didn't see this when Clue and Marcus were saying, do it.
No.
I didn't see this.
Didn't see it. Yeah.
Bro, he's incredible, bro. And you be doing
really,
that. You be doing that because when we was at Coachella, and I remember we was walking backstage, and literally Kelly Rowland has like an entourage of almost 30 people and stops everything. Moshe. I'm like, oh, this real. This is real. This ain't fake.
It's like, I would couldn't believe it. The look on your face, you was like, what is happening? Bro, too funny. Good times. Uh-oh. Your phone died? What happened? Oh, your phone died. We got 2 people in here. Oh.
No, we good. This thing be
Oh.
trying to clock me out, but it's cool. But what happens is the editing is gonna work greatly. I'm gonna edit it and then it'll be
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, that was crazy, dog. Like I remember
I
that,
remember
and I was
that's Kelly Rowland that just stopped and ran and gave you a hug. I was like, yeah. And then you were like, how are you so calm? I was like, yeah, we grew up together. You're like, no, that was Kelly Rowland, bro. And she stopped what she was doing and ran over to you. You can't just stand here and act like that was just something normal. You were like,
Yes.
bro, that's not normal. That's all you kept saying. It's not normal. Stop it.
Bro. We both had moments like that because what was funny is I remember when you got mad at me because you said it felt like I had you and Jose when we was watching
The
Super Duper
security,
Kyle. Did
yeah,
y'all
the key.
security? Bro,
It's
that was the
like,
coldest. That was cold, dog. It was cold. But that's relationship.
who's that? He- Yeah.
That's relationship. That's going into places and necessarily not just being you, but being a light in the midst of darkness. Because when a person experiences that light, they always recognize it when they see it again. And that's what you
Because
have been
another funny time that happened to me
with.
when we were in South America this year, and I was
Mm,
standing outside the art. I'm waiting on a van to pick us up,
mm-hmm,
and MGK and them pull up. Trey hops out, he dabs me up. Slim dabs me up, and then MGK comes out, and he was about to walk past me,
uh-huh.
and he spoke to like somebody else, and then he was like, "Oh, Shay," and everybody in the team was like, "You know him?" It was like that moment when you were backstage, like, "You know her?" It was
Yeah,
like he came back to speak to you. I was like, I
right.
mean, but man, it's a
That's
certain
so
light.
funny
You know
because
what I mean?
remember that happened at Rolling Loud before I even people. Let me
That
tell
was
you, take care of your people. So this same
yes,
scenario happened with me in MGK at Rolling Loud at SoFi Stadium,
yeah,
and that's where
yeah,
I was told about an opportunity where they needed somebody to come and step in and do something. You know what I did? I said, my boy Moshe can do it. And
yeah.
it's bro, God, you tight.
Well,
God, you so tight.
yeah, you're the man
You
for
the man,
real,
bro. I'm gonna just
man.
man, because we could talk forever, but I'm gonna just ask you this last final question. Well, two final questions. I'm wondering because it's something that I want
Okay,
to know. Um,
okay.
who are some of your influences and why in what you do in regards to mixing and how your ear is and what you're looking for in regards to um being front of house and mixing monitors. Like, what are your influences? Because I don't know. I don't even know how you guys are influenced by those things. I don't know if it's just the nature of your hearing or if you've listened to certain things and you were just like, I want to kind of replicate that.
Um, some of my mentors, I would say, are. It's funny because it's like they're mentors, but now we're like almost equal, and it's scary to say that, but it's a
Hmm.
reality that
It's a
is
reality.
now here.
Yeah,
Um, Kyle Hamilton
he's
is
a good.
definitely
He's a
one.
good one. Yep,
Dorian Stramler,
that
call
man
him
there.
Unc. He, you know what I'm saying? Definitely is one. Um, Brandon Blackwell, believe it or not, he's younger than me, but I respect what he does as an engineer.
Yep, I got to get him
Um,
on here. I got to get him on here.
yeah, definitely. From a monitor perspective and front of house perspective, I've
Yeah,
learned things from him.
crazy.
Um, Sean Sturge, even though he has
Mm.
stepped away from mixing, learn things from him.
Hmm.
Um, and then one of my Houston, the couple of Houston guys, Ray Givens and
Wow.
Damian Harris, local guys that I have come up under in the Houston scene as engineer, and now am on an equal playing ground with them. Never would I have ever thought I'd be on the equal playing ground with Ray Gibbons and Damian Harris. And these are Houston names that people would be like, "What?" I'm getting
Right.
kudos from those guys. Um,
Yeah.
and then what, picking up little tidbits from them and things like that.
And then
But it's
marrying with who you are.
also
Yeah.
with who I am. But one of the things that I do is I study.
Mm, that's a good one.
So I listen to the record. If I'm mixing front of house, I'm gonna pull all of the artist's catalog and I'm gonna listen to it. And I'm gonna ingest it for
Mm-hmm.
some time to get an idea of their sound, of the vocal,
Mm-hmm.
and then the records that they're gonna do. Then when we get a set list, then I'll try to put those songs in a playlist and ingest it and then try to make it sound like the record.
Correct.
And
You
then
got me
from a
messed up.
monitor standpoint,
Mm-hmm. You got me messed up. I'm
from a
gonna let you get on the monitor. I'm gonna let you get on the monitor. But let me tell you where you messed me up. The reason why I gotta say that is because when I went to go see Kehlani at the YouTube theater, one of my notes to you was, "It's crazy to me how you have her vocal sounding like the record because she has a very high
yeah,
end and a very hissy kind of
yeah,
mix on her vocals." You did that.
yeah.
You did that. Now talk to us about monitors.
From a monitor perspective, I try my hardest to give each person the reality of what they're hearing of the record as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
most times you're listening to the record, which I know I learned this from you. Like you listen to the record and I'm playing the record. I'm not trying to overplay the record. I
Correct.
need to play what's on the record. So you need to hear it like you're trying to hear. So if that's how you want to hear it from
Mm-hmm.
your playing, I gotta mix it like that for you to be able to feel like, okay, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I got
I'm fitting in. Yeah.
So each person has to feel it like that. Now, sometimes some people want, like I know you when you with your mix, you want a full mix. Some
Correct.
guys want their instrument on top and then everything underneath it. But you
Yep.
always preach you really don't want to do that because you get lost in what you're doing. I remember
Yep.
you telling, I don't know if it was Scoot or someone like, your mix should not be you and then everything else
Yeah.
because that's not how you listen to music. You
That's not
don't
how you
you
listen to
don't
it
listen
at
to
all.
music like that. You can't call the radio station and be like, "Hey, turn the drums up and everything else down for my car, please. Thank you," and hang up the phone. You can't tell the you can't tell when you buy something off of iTunes. Hey, can you send me the file where it's all drums up and then everything else down? Or
You childish.
can you put all of the bass parts up? It's
Oh.
gotta be a mix, 'cause
Yeah.
especially if it's a band. Now it may be
Mm-hmm.
different when it's like the you and a D what a two-piece, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or, you and a DJ or you, and keys or something like that. That's different because then you're
Yeah.
relying on the playback to give you the fullness. But
Correct.
in the reality is when it's we still try to achieve for you a full mix with
Yeah.
your drums present,
Right.
but you
Right.
still needed to hear everything else because you're not playing by yourself.
That part. Yeah. Well, you know what
Now,
I call it?
you know,
I call it wanting to hear it the way that I would want people to hear it at front of house. That's the way that my mix normally is in my
you
ears.
want
I want to hear it
to,
the
yeah,
way that people will hear it in the front of house. I know my drums aren't going to
yeah,
be, my drums should match the drums of the record, but they should be elevational to where when I do
Yeah.
something, people notice, oh, there's a drummer there, but it's
Yeah.
locked. There's a
Yeah.
guitar there, but it sounds like it's so tucked in there that it still sounds like the production that was prior. That it almost, and for me, any live show should sound like, yes, we see people physically there on stage, but it should sound like they did it in the studio. That's what it should sound
Yeah.
like. It shouldn't be like,
Yeah.
oh, the only thing that should be a little bit louder, if anything, is the vocals being written, because whether or not an artist is sick or something like that, you gotta ride
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
dynamic wise, I mean, unless your hand is broken and you playing guitar, first your ass shouldn't be on stage if your hand's broken. But you know what I'm saying? We should be playing with the same amount of routine and intensity. You know what I'm saying? Because we not singing. You know what I'm saying? The only
Yeah.
reason why you not we barely missing the symbol because we stopped breathing. We missed that because that's a physical action we miss.
Yeah.
Them
Yeah.
missing a vocal part is based upon the fact that their instrument is their voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That instrument
So
right there, it's a different kind of beast right there. And
yeah.
like I said, bro, when I came to Kehlani's concert and I was just like, I got I can't deny the fact that her voice don't sound like everybody else's. And what really showed it to me was when she had special guests come on stage. And it's not to say that you
Hmm.
didn't you didn't do well. Their mics sounded like special guest mics. It sounds different from
Yeah.
the lead mic, but it's still clarity to it. But once I heard the special guest mic and the
Yeah.
lead mic together, because it wouldn't have been smart to have them sounding just like her in the record, because the even when you make
Yeah.
records, two two voices
It
never
don't
sound
matter.
the same. They're not mixed the same. But that's where I
Yeah.
could hear the distinction, and I was just like, but if I go back and listen to the record, her voice sounds exactly like that. And
Yeah.
you did an
Yeah.
amazing you did an
It's
amazing job.
crazy. Man, I appreciate it. It was funny when I saw somebody sent me a post. Just a random person sent me something off of TikTok that was like, Kehlani is singing, but that her engineer needs a raise because he has her sounding amazing. And I was
Man,
like, wow, this is crazy. It's
no,
crazy. But
it's absolutely crazy.
yeah,
It's it's
I was
more gratifying. Let me tell you why that's more gratifying. Because we play certain things, we do certain things for those who understand it. But when you have somebody who doesn't understand it, enjoy it to the
yeah,
amount to where they say you deserve more than what you're getting. Wait, that means
yeah,
that we connected with somebody who entirely does not even understand how this works. You know what I'm
right.
saying? It's cool for my
Yeah,
homies to be like, oh, you was playing amazing. But to run
yeah,
into somebody off stage who's not doesn't know anything about music, and they were just like, you just played everything that I needed to hear. You didn't get, like, wait, what? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a stockbroker. What?
yeah,
That's where
yeah,
that's where the real gratification comes from. And it's not even gratification in like, oh, it's just like, wow, I was
yeah,
able to
yeah.
accomplish what we create
One,
music
that
to
that is
do.
the goal to
That is the
translate
goal.
to the non-engineer, the
Yeah, to the
non-musician,
normal ear.
the
Yep.
non-singer. Yeah, like, wow. Yeah, that's
That's
what you
it.
want.
That's it, bro. That's it, man.
So,
Well,
yeah,
Shay, you said everything. I had a million questions for you, but like I said, when this gets in the conversation space, you literally knock out all
yeah,
the questions in the midst of it. And I
yeah,
guarantee so many people gain knowledge on this. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. We may have to come back and talk again, maybe bring Brandon on or something like that, because there's so many layers to what we
yeah,
do.
yeah, definitely.
But man, I greatly appreciate you. I love you for um loving me. I thank you for getting on my line sometimes and telling me when I'm wrong. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for not going along with the sale, because we have enough people who are, yeah, man, you good. She tripping. They tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've always
Yeah.
helped me at a certain level of like, I'm not gonna let you just be out here looking crazy. I appreciate that. That's the reason why, I almost folded a nigga up in
Yeah.
Philadelphia over you one time. We not doing
Definitely
that. You know what I'm saying?
almost dead for sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
but I
And
greatly appreciate
I
that, man.
definitely love you with, again, the iron sharpening iron.
Yeah.
If to go back 5 years to the moment you walked in that room and I'm like, oh no, what is going on?
Right.
To now, it all was worth it.
Growing up
Wouldn't
together.
trade it
Yeah.
for, because definitely it's so much. People don't even understand how kindred we are, just
Yes.
with our daughters from that perspective. Like, you know what I'm saying? We push each other in ways that no one will ever understand. And
Absolutely.
people probably think we've known each other for 15, 20 years and
We
not,
act like it. Not even
you know,
close.
we act like it, but we definitely do not.
Absolutely, man.
But
And
he is
and
definitely my, I
oh
love him
yeah.
to death.
Oh yeah. For sure, man. I love you, man. I
Yeah,
greatly appreciate you having this time for us, man. I can't wait for
for
people to
sure.
be able to hear this audio biography of your life right now, because the pace that you're on, if I interviewed you in probably 6 months to a year, it ain't gonna be the same story. It's gonna be something crazy, because I swear on everything, the things that God does in your life on a consistent basis, every time you call me with something, I just be like, this nigga. But God, I wouldn't have wanted it to be nobody else, because
Yeah,
because I get so excited about the things that God does in your life, because it lets me know I'm surrounded around growing people. I'm surrounded
yeah,
around people in an
amazing.
upward motion. And it means everything to me, man. I pray that God continues to just bless you. He continues to grow you. He continues to put more people around you that will just show his love back to you and reciprocate that love. Because man,
Yeah,
it's there's times where we just be like, I don't want to keep reciprocating this. I don't want to keep being a nice guy. Keep being keep
yeah,
being you, Shay. And I know I probably don't even have to tell you that, but we every one of us have our limits. Keep being you, man.
yeah,
Like you are
yeah,
always the ice to a especially to me and Marcus fire. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm probably more I'm probably more the water, you the ice, he's
yeah.
the fire.
All
But
for fire.
that Negro,
Devin.
you got to walk around with a
Yeah,
fire extinguisher with his big head behind. But we love him.
yeah,
Why? Because at the end of the day, Marcus, to give him his flowers and have him on here. Ooh, I don't know if I could have him on
yeah.
here. The stuff he may say, you might have to come back just to be
I
a
might have to
witness.
be with them. They're
Yeah, I
like,
think
hold
I
on,
might
whoa,
just
whoa,
have to
whoa.
have you. Right, I might need to have you back to extinguish him.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah,
he's that dog that every person needs. That person that's just like, nope, nope, we're not about to do that. Not today. I'll do it to you first.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But
Right.
man, I love you, Doc. Thank you for this
Love
time.
you.
And for all y'all that
Thank
are
you, man.
listening, I greatly
This was
appreciate
amazing.
y'all. Man, telling you, bro. I really love you, dog. I love all y'all listening in. I appreciate y'all. Y'all could be doing anything else in the world. And I tell y'all this genuinely. I love y'all. I love everyone. I appreciate y'all, because um we're going through a hard time in life, whether it be inflation, whether it be our people being sick. I mean, we getting up out of here faster than we could have ever expected. So I love every one of y'all that have joined us today, listening. Appreciate y'all. And we will see you
Thank you.
soon. This is Levels to This podcast. My man Moshe. Thank you, bro. And
Yeah.
peace out, y'all.
Love you, bro.
Love you,
All
dog.
right.